Well, the term media freedom, much like the term freedom itself, can mean very different things to different people. But I want to tell you how I envision media freedom. I think media freedom for consumers means the freedom to consume what they want from the sources they choose without government restriction. For media creators and distributors, media freedom means the freedom to structure their business affairs as they wish without any sort of undue interference from the government. And media freedom for both media consumers and producers really is all about the freedom to speak one's mind without constraint or without some bureaucrat telling us what is fair. And the problem is that you wouldn't think this would be all that controversial, but there are people who have a very different conception of media freedom. People like the radical regulatory activist group Free Press or its founder, the neo-Marxist media scholar Robert McChesney. People like this view media freedom as really almost in Orwellian terms, as media wrapped in red tape and shackled with meddlesome mandates at every juncture. And what we exist to do here is essentially to counter that vision and that message with the vision and message of real media freedom. Again, freedom to see, read, do what you want, produce what you want without any sort of meddlesome regulatory unelected bureaucrats telling you what's the right thing to do or the fair way to do it. So the goal and the purpose of this site is to basically try to provide an insight into, a look into the world of the cyber collectivist movement and look at who the enemies of media freedom are and what their agenda looks like. We aim to provide information and intellectual capital to fight this force because it is a rising force. It's a force that has real sway right now in our government. It's starting to have a real influence on public policy. And what we hope to do is to counter that at every juncture and to say that there's a very different conception of media freedom and media rights in this country than the one that the cyber collectivist movement and the free presses of the world and the Robert McChesneys and others are advocating. Because that vision ultimately ends in control of media rights, of media speech, free speech in general. And so this site exists and aims to counter that however we can.